Julian, I was very surprised when you approached me to collaborate with you on this project. I mean, how did the thing come about?
Well, it was sheer panic, actually. I had got a date in the diary to put on a pasticcio about Casanova. I thought, brilliant, what a great idea to do it at King's Place. And I suddenly thought, oh, I need to do it now. So I thought, who better than my journalist friend, Stephen?
I'm sure I was low on your list as
Oh, nonsense.
Before you asked me, I hadn't really had much to do with pasticcio operas, and not many people perhaps will know what that's all about. What is it all about, pasticcio?
Well, pasticcios were really popular in the day. I'm talking about the 18th century. They were basically like patchwork quilts, operas put together from lots of different pieces by different composers. Perhaps the narrative structure wouldn't have been important then. So it was like a sort of catwalk of arias for singers. And I thought it'd be fun to recreate this and play with history in a way. So we're not worried about being authentic or anything like that, but actually just creating something new from existing material. And we're sort of recycling lots of things. And I thought it'd be quite nice to have a high quality librettist to give it sort of cohesive structure. And Casanova was an ideal candidate, I think, to do for an opera pasticcio because he travelled so extensively within Europe that one can incorporate lots of different styles of music attached to one historical figure. And Casanova is one of those people everyone knows, but no one knows. Yeah.
In Spain 230, in France 130 something out, in Venezia,
The reputation of Casanova is as this sort of Lothario who spent all of his days basically seducing and having lots and lots of sex. And I thought, well, no, there has to be more to this character than that. And indeed, in the writings, that's revealed.
Absolutely.
If you go into them.
He's a sort of polymath in the way that people aren't anymore, in that he didn't just specialise in doing one thing. He had several strands to his career. Part of it was diplomatic, part of it was espionage. But the aspect of the love life that I found really interesting is that he had, at the core of his life, perhaps somewhat a sad existence, because I think one can read into all these multiple affairs with women, this sort of seeking happiness and never really finding it and never really being a satisfied and happy person. And that in the end, there really was only one woman that he loved truly, and that he made a mess of it and bore this sadness for all of his life. So I think for me, approaching it as, yes, it's a comic opera and we have a laugh, but there is this sadness, and I find that interesting. The interesting side of it is for you is to be playing his only love, and and an extraordinary woman she must have been.
Yeah, and it is quite a sad story. And like you mentioned, I do play Henriette, her name is, and this is one of the characters I play. And
because you of course have multiple characters.
Yes, this is the first experience for me. I've never done this before. And normally, how we prepare for a role, there's usually a pre-story, a book to read, a legend, a myth, something to kind of have some idea about the character. With these ones, no idea. So it kind of brings you this freedom of just making up whatever you want about them. And I don't know why, but somehow in my head, I always see these clear images of those women, the way they're dressed, very clearly, very precisely. She doesn't wear a wig. For the 18th century, it's a must, I think, right? Because all aristocrats, and I think she is an aristocrat, to wear a wig, but she doesn't, and she wears gloves, which for me maybe represents a sign of, I don't know, purity.
Yes.
And maybe this is something that was very interesting for Casanova.
Yes,
I don't know,
this was a pure woman.
Yeah.
That he didn't know many pure women.
Yes.
what I love about this duet we have, and this is a really good example of what one can do with the Pasticcio, which is it is originally a solo aria.
Yes.
But our musical director Julian has adapted this for two voices. But within this duet, we never talk to each other.
No.
You
no, we
are
don't.
talking about me, but we are not relating, and it is a poignant duet. But ultimately, it is illustrative of the fact that we aren't going to end up together. That we are in our separate.
It's quite sad, and
It
that's
is,
how
yeah.
the whole act finishes, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
that's it.
sad, and we walk away. Yeah.
We had such fun choosing the music.
Oh yeah, it was like sort of being in Aladdin's cave. There was
Yeah.
so much to choose from. So what we've done, we've rearranged pieces. We've put in even a fake item by me. Yes, sorry, shouldn't say these things. And we've got about 17 composers in there,
Yeah.
which I think reflects, in a small part, the huge travels that Casanova had.
Absolutely. And I enjoyed the heresy of it all, to be quite honest.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
giving secular words to sacred text, revered
Yeah.
sacred text,
Oh,
turning
yes.
the catalogue aria into a countertenor piece, keeping to these rhyme schemes even though we're writing English texts
Yes.
you know, on completely different scenarios. That was a real and actually in the end really fun challenge.
I've loved every moment of it, and what's intriguing for me is the creative process, because when you work with singers, particularly on recitative, if it's work by a dead composer, one is sometimes reluctant to change things, but as I'm in the room and it's my recitative, I think, oh, that doesn't work, we'll try that, and it's been very malleable. I find the whole process very malleable,
Yeah.
and when it hasn't worked, you know, even some words changing your R's, it's an adaptable thing, and it's like a moving target in a way.
I think
You know,
so,
it's a flexible friend, and I think that's really been an enjoyable part of this process.
Yeah.
And it makes the music making more fun in a way.
It does, and it's actually a joy to do something to illuminate this incredibly exciting and fascinating character from those centuries ago.